That fired surprisingly well, and to be honest, I don't think I've seen a single other review or post talking about that feature. So if you haven't heard by now, Dartzone's coming out swinging in 2022 with its next pro-level foam flinging creation. This is the Jurassic Pro, and it is a bolt-action, mag-fed springer. And things have been a little crazy surrounding its release. Let's back things up. A few weeks ago, a user on Reddit posted a picture of this blaster claiming to have found it in their local Walmart, with no information from Dartzone or Adventure Force, the Walmart brand that it's released under, that this was even coming out. Which is crazy considering the fact that it appears to be a Jurassic World Dominion tie-in for the movie Jurassic World Dominion that'll be coming out later this year. Fast forward a couple weeks, and there's only been a few spots around the country in which this has popped up yet. That I know of. The only places are Texas, Colorado, and here in California. Is this the worst kept secret, or the best stealth marketing strategy that Dartzone's ever done? I'll leave that up for you to decide. But it has been an unusual situation to say the least. Now before you ask, I would love to leave a buy link down in the description, but unfortunately, it's not available online. If you're able to find this thing in your local Walmart, that's the only way you're going to be able to get this, at least for now. Now I did reach out to Dartzone, and they did say that the official release date is April 23rd of this year, so it is coming up fairly soon. But when it does come out, is it worth your time? That's what we're here to find out. Starting with a visual overview, this blaster is very long. It's definitely longer than my Nexus Pro, that's for sure. But the interesting thing about this blaster is that it actually comes apart, and in theory, without losing any major performance pieces, gets down to a length that is very similar to the footprint of the Aeon Pro, if not only slightly larger. This thing comes with a detachable iron sight for the rear, a detachable iron sight for the front, which actually folds forward out of the way, up and backwards out of the way, as well as this screw-in bolt for the prime, which can be mounted to either side. Its top Picatinny rail actually extends all the way across the blaster, so there's plenty of real estate on this for attachment. And I really like the ones that it comes with. Going up to the front, the faux barrel is friction fit. It does have little notches here that have to be aligned in order to put it in all the way. And this taser muzzle type thing just friction fits and can be twisted in any direction. Moving on to the stock, its attachment point is very interesting and unique to this blast. This part inserts, and then two little mechanisms here keep it from falling out. To remove it, you press these little buttons here on both sides and then pull out. While priming it, I have noticed that the stock itself doesn't have a very strong connection to the blaster, and I think that just comes down to the way it inserts. When priming the bolt, the stock does tend to flex under the weight of the prime, which is not a good sign. But I want to say that the stock itself is designed very, very interestingly, very cool, and it's got a great attention to detail with this little like mosquito bug hidden inside this tube here. I like that the plastics are clear. I'd love to see somebody come up with something where it lights this area up. I think that would be really cool. Looking down here, we have the safety mechanism, which can be pressed in from the right in order to allow the blaster to fire, or pressed in from the left in order to engage the safety. It also has a mag release here, as well as its own mag adapter. It is a Springer's though, so you do need to cock this back before pulling out the mag adapter. Moving on to magazines, it does come with a full-length and a half-length magazine, as well as an adapter for that half-length magazine. Comparing it to the mag adapter that we're used to with the Nexus Pro, Aeon Pro, Max Striker, etc., it does actually seem to line up a little differently. This ridge right here is actually located higher up, which makes me believe that the distance from here to here will not allow either this to work in a Nexus Pro or this Nexus Pro one to work in the Jurassic Pro. But we're gonna find out. So it does appear that the actual Nexus Pro adapter will fit in here. I suspect that the reverse is not going to be true though. So I'm going to have to say that this mag adapter doesn't work with any of the other Adventure Force or Dartzone blasters, which is kind of a bummer, but at the same time, not necessary because the ones from the Nexus Pro, etc. will work inside the Jurassic Pro. It does seem, however, that the half-length magazine from the Jurassic Pro does fit properly inside of the adapter for the Nexus Pro. So although the mag adapter isn't compatible, the magazine itself is. Moving on to the full-length magazine that comes with this blaster, it does have an angle, which I find is very common with Nerf branded, like sniper rifle aesthetic blasters, and I kind of like that. In terms of magazine compatibility, Nerf branded magazine should work, even though the ridge doesn't line up. However, I'd say in particular with the 35, it's just not ergonomically pleasing. This does tend to get in the way of my arm here. However, the CS50 drum magazine does seem to fit in here well, and doesn't really seem to bother me that much. It is a little bit heavy though. Due to the weight of the Prime, I don't think that without the stock, this Prime is manageable, which is a bummer because the stock is so flexible. So now that I've messed with the blaster a little bit more, I want to take that back actually. If you take the bolt from the right side and move it on to the left side, the Prime not only becomes more manageable, but this bolt is big enough to serve as a handle, much like a foregrip does. So I could definitely see myself running around with this thing without the stock, now that I've kind of discovered that. As I'm looking things over, I'm realizing that the barrel in this can't be more than 3 inches, which makes me think that there should be some considerable increases in performance with a simple barrel extension. Now that I'm looking at the barrel more closely and comparing it to something like the Nexus Pro or Striker muzzle, I'm wondering if it takes alternate ammos like those did. First up, let's try some Mega ammo. So it's not ideal, and it did take a little finagling. A Mega Dart does theoretically fit in here. Now let's see if it fires. That fired surprisingly well, and to be honest, I don't think I've seen a single other reviewer post talking about that feature. Oftentimes, if it fits Mega, it fits Rival, and vice versa. So let's see what we can do with this one. This isn't going in easily. It's almost not going in at all. So you can see with a little bit of finagling on this one, it also does fit inside here. Now, let's see if it fires. Well, I wouldn't say it fires amazingly, but it does seem to fire, so that's kind of interesting. And that got me thinking, well, if it doesn't fire Rival well, will it fire an Ultra Dart? I'm gonna say no. I honestly can't tell if this is paint or some kind of printing process, and I'm not sure what the process exactly is. But I will say this, it seems to only work on flat surfaces, because they really stopped short of any curves on this. It is cool that they extended it over to the handle here with a little tie-in, and that they did it on both sides. Hasbro, if you're listening, paint both sides. So let's talk for a second about performance. Alright, so we're going to be doing the full length test and see how that works out. Let's see. $75, 122, 134, 135. That one swirled a lot though. 119. That one swirled a lot too. Alright, so we're not doing too bad. Alright, now we got our half-length mag adapter in there. We're going to throw some half-length ones that it came with over the chronograph, which are just the AF Pros. We'll throw 5 and see what happens. 115. 135. 134. 132. Oh, I hit the chronograph. Alright, we're gonna have to get one more shot for that one. I think that's maybe what happened with that 75 shot at the beginning. I might have hit the chronograph. 161, holy sh**. Alright, that's pretty good. Alright, so I'm gonna take off this faux barrel here and see, I have a feeling that we're gonna get a little bit of better shots because I think this is gonna create some barrel drag since it doesn't actually seal all the way through here. about the same so far. Ooh, spicy. That's the highest one yet. So it seems to be a little bit more consistent without that barrel on there. All right, now just for comparison, we're gonna shoot 5 of the AF Pros that it came with into the stock Nexus Pro that I have. Only modifications are gonna be cosmetic on this one right now, and see how it compares. That's pretty good. Honestly, I'd say they're right on par with each other. So what about range? Just like any of their other pro blasters in the Adventure Force lineup, Dartzone is claiming that they can get 125 feet or more out of this blaster. All right, so we're gonna be doing a range test for this thing. Now I will say it is a little bit windy here, so the wind is blowing currently in this direction, so it might not get its maximum range, but we're gonna see. It says 125 feet on the box. We'll see if with some arcing that we can get those distances, or at least close to them, given the conditions. Ooh, that one went far. See if we can arc a little more and see what we get. All right, let's make our last 2 some straight shots. All right, let's go see how we did. All right, so we got our first one right here, and we're going over 69 feet. Nice. Put nice down in the comments if you got this far in the video and you're a degenerate like me. All right. Oh, we got our second one right here. That's a 75 feet. So those were the first, those 2 were the straight shots that I took with no arc. Oh, I see one. Right on the line, 105 feet. Let's see what else we got. Oh, I see the next one. Here we are. This one is at 111 feet. Oh, and I see the other one. Right here at about the same area, 111 feet. Unfortunately, I didn't get any shots that were over 125 feet or even hitting 125 feet. However, the wind conditions probably played a bigger role in this. And I think under ideal conditions, this thing could hit those marks. It would take a significant arc to do so. Now let's take it over for an accuracy test. All right, so we're gonna try to hit it from about 50 feet this time. The wind is starting to pick back up again, so I think we're gonna have some pretty bad results. No fault of the actual blaster itself, but I think we're gonna try it anyways, just because we can't wait for the conditions to die down at the moment. We got a hit, a miss. Ooh, almost a hit. I'm pretty sure the wind actually curved around the pole to make that one miss. It went perfectly around it. Another hit. Another hit. All right, so I think from 50 feet, you could definitely hit people consistently. So I think you could definitely hit someone consistently at 65 feet if there wasn't wind going on. As you can see, for an out-of-the-box blaster, its accuracy wasn't bad. Surprisingly good, actually, with all things considered. So what are my overall thoughts about this blaster? Well, I really like the aesthetics of this blaster. I think its attachments are pretty cool. I think it has a lot of mod potential, especially from a simple barrel upgrade and possibly a more aggressive spring. Might not work out due to making the prime too difficult. However, I'm confident that the aftermarket will come up with some solutions for this, including a front prime kit by attaching most likely to this point and then bracing somewhere along here. The performance is as good as any of the other Adventure Force Pro blasters. I know some people are going to complain about the $65 price tag, but I actually think this is a very fair price. Considering that the Nexus Pro in its most basic variation is at $50, the Max Striker at Target and the purple camo version of the Nexus Pro are at $60, and the Gold Nexus Pro is at $70, this thing fits right in. And you have to pay the extra tax for the movie tie-in for the franchise. And I don't mind doing so because I'm really excited about what something like this means for Dartzone. I do think having a movie tie-in is a big step in the right direction for Dartzone. And if Hasbro doesn't make some serious changes, I think Dartzone just might take their place as the #1 blaster brand. And hopefully force Hasbro to step up their game. Although I really wish it didn't have these square edges, the stock was a little bit more stable, and that this bottom Picatinny rail was longer, overall, I just can't say enough positive things about this blaster. But what do you think? Is this the bolt action sniper rifle of your dreams? Or is the price tag make it a pass? Let me know down in the comments. Well, it's been a blast. Until next time on The King of Games.